What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Brittney McWethy with the Free Lady Podcast. Thank you for joining the show today and welcome the beautiful Jess. Isn't she beautiful, guys? Like she's even more beautiful in person and her spirit is beautiful. And that's why I'm so excited to have her on the show. But I am going to make a statement really quick before we start talking. A lot of people will probably be asking me questions. And the thing is, I will always tell you is once you see it, you can't unsee it. Dan and I have been kicked out of the lion's den because we are friends with certain people that are good people. They're kind. And it's just really, really unfortunate that we are looked at like that. I've never hid anything. I will never hide anything. Everything I do comes from love. And I know that in the past that, I've gotten in trouble for loving so hard and so big. I will be forever grateful for the Lion's Den. I will be forever grateful for Sean. He changed my life. The den changed my life. And I'm so grateful for the people that I met in the den, including Jess and my tribe. And I will be forever grateful for that. And I know that everything Sean did came from a really, really good place with these actions that are happening right now to not just Dan and I, but to other members are absolutely devastating. And that's all I'm going to say to that. So if you guys don't see me in the den, for people that watch my podcast and follow me in the den, I'm going to cry. Like, this is very, very emotional for me because I care about you so much. I care about everybody so much. For this to happen is just completely heartbreaking. And I don't understand, I don't understand why this happens to good people. But other than that, if you guys have questions for me, please DM me. Again, I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I come from love and I come from a place that I want to help as many people as possible because I care about you and I care about your well-being. And I truly, truly, truly talk from the soul when I talk to people, tell my story, when I have other people come on here. And I just wanted to be honest with you guys because everything will always come from an honest place. And I love you. So anyways, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. That's that. We're going to send that off into the universe and speak our truth. So welcome, Jess. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm sorry that you had to be on the podcast where I had to make a statement, but at the same time, like, it is what it is. It just happened like an hour ago. So, I could have been like very crazy and fuming. Like, I feel like I have a Bowser fire belly. I know I talk about that a lot, but I want to continue with compassion and lead with love. So you guys lead with love always and speak the truth. So Jess has an amazing, amazing, amazing healing journey for you guys today. And this topic is actually really frowned upon for a lot of people. And I wanted to have her on my show today to talk about the amazing benefits of what she has done spiritually, mindful with her body, with her heart and her soul, and how she feels now. So Jess, first of all, what are you thankful for today?
Oh gosh. Today I'm grateful for health because I am feeling really not great the last couple days. And so it makes you really reflect on my health and how normally, you feel great. You have ups and downs, but on the most part, like, I live a healthy, happy life. And so feeling kind of crummy and sick, you always reflect on that. So today I'm grateful for my health. And even though I feel kind of crummy, like, it could be far worse. So I'm so grateful for that.
Yes.
How about you? I would love to hear yours as well.
Even after all this shit that just went down, like I said, I am very, very grateful. I am very, very grateful for the people on the table that I have in my life.
Yeah.
And everything I learned. I'm so grateful for the lessons that I've learned.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just don't stay true to who they are in the end, and that's okay. I know that like everything that I do and I say and my actions, they all come from love and truth. And that how is literally how my table is, my like my inner circle of friends
Yeah.
are. And I'm so grateful. I am so
Awesome.
grateful that the people that I've met and that have, stayed in my life. And I couldn't be more thankful for that through, and I'm glad that like, I found this out like an hour ago. Yeah, 4 o'clock. And I'm just telling you, I was fuming. But I knew like I had to come into a relaxed place.
Yeah.
Because if I were to be ungrateful and just go down to that level, that doesn't serve me or anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I am just going to have as much gratitude as possible.
Yeah.
With that said, that's what I'm grateful
Love
for.
it.
So Jess, tell everyone who you are and what do you do?
All right. My name is Jess Kissling. I am from Utah. I work in the oil and gas industry, so that's a little different, but I also am big into the outdoors. Like I love the outdoors. More into, I guess I don't want to say more into, but I love the outdoor sports and outdoors more than I love being indoors. So that's a big part of my life. I have 2 kids, married to the love of my life, best friend, keeps me on my toes. um, just living life, man. I just completed 75 hard about, geez, when was it? Like a month ago?
Amazing.
And so that's been really cool. That was really cool.
We're going to have to go snowboarding if you snowboard.
Okay, that's one thing I've never done. So let's do it.
Well, I haven't gone in like 3 years. So it's like I'm a little fallen leaf girl action. It's just really fun. I just love being on the mountain. I don't even care what I look like anymore, but it's so
Yep.
so much fun.
Yep.
And then just, side note, you guys, it's just great to have hobbies. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I both live in Utah. So it's like, hey, we can get together and do these things together and spread our wings and and connection. So you guys don't be ever afraid to like grow connections, people that you don't know that well, but you just know that they're good people and they have good spirits, and that's what it's all about.
Yes.
So we are here. If you guys don't know what 75 hard is, look up 75 hard. It was created by Andy Frisella. It is a 75-day competition with self.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about the mind than anything. I have not personally done it yet, but I know a lot of people have. I've done like a soft 75 hard, but I work out all the time. I eat really good. Like I'm very, very structured with what I do now. But it's a mental game because for 75 days, you can't cheat on a meal. You have to work out twice a day. You have to read, it changes. You can't drink alcohol. There's so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really pushes you mentally. So what did you learn from
Yes.
75 hard, Jess?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm gonna go back a couple years. So I didn't complete it. I made it to day 68 like 3 years ago.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and had, some feminine issues. And so I didn't complete one of my workouts on day 68. So I failed that time, and I've attempted, started it numerous times in between. And it just like got to my mind, like, I can't do this. I'm not capable. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I have to do this. Like,
Right.
my husband even was like, dude, this is not good. Like, you need to just give up on that. You're doing other things that are good. Just forget about that. Because
Right.
every time I'd start and fail, he's like, it was like devastating to you. Like, you took a hit. And I'm like, well, yeah,
Right.
it shouldn't be that difficult, but
Right.
it was. And I needed that. And I knew that that was going to help me in so many ways because of how I had failed so many times. Like, I needed to show myself that I could do it. So I started, I want to say May 31st. And like 10 days in, I'm like, okay, I can do this. All right. And at first, I just kept thinking, am I full of shit? Am I just doing this to fail again? And then I want to say around day 30, I was like, nope, it's locked and loaded. Like, I'm finishing this. Like, I was feeling good. Everything went smooth. And for the most part, it did. Like, until probably I want to say towards day 45, day 50, you start getting in like it's just mundane. Like you're doing the same things over and over and you get
Right.
exhausted and your body's
Right.
taking a toll on it. But day 60, it like something snapped and I just was like on this other level of just like energy and my mood was better. And I mean, throughout the whole thing, I feel like I was happier.
Yeah.
I was more tired, but happier.
Yeah.
And I really was worried because I have a pretty full schedule already. And so I want to say 2, 3 weeks in, I was talking to my family and I was like, I'm sorry, like I'm not as available as I had been. And my daughter was like, actually, I feel like we see you more. I'm like, really? She said, yeah. And I got thinking about it and I'm like, I had to be so structured through this that I had my window of with my family and it was like I didn't do anything else in that window. I
Yeah.
wasn't doing laundry, I wasn't working out, I wasn't on my phone, I wasn't working, I was with them.
Yeah.
And it really showed me that we can have a full schedule. We can be busy,
Mhm.
but it doesn't have to mean that we don't have those quality interactions with family, friends, or even with ourselves. Like if you schedule out time and are intentional with that time, it can mean way more than having all this time with somebody, but not being intentional and not being present with them.
Right.
And that was a big lesson, which that's not anything like mental or I guess it is a little bit mental, but physically it changed me. But that was one thing that really sparked my mind of like, I need to be more intentional with my time.
Yeah.
And it forces you to be intentional with your time because you don't
Right.
have a lot of time.
Right.
So that was a big lesson. Another lesson was just realizing that I'm capable. Like
Yeah.
I lost that. I completely lost that. And that belief in yourself drives everything. That drives your relationships, it drives your work, it
Yeah.
drives your fitness, it drives your spiritual, it drives everything.
Yeah.
So that realization of like I can do this and I can push myself and I'm capable of it was huge.
Right.
And that was something that I needed. I didn't know how much I needed it.
Yeah.
Everything else was going pretty well, but then it just lets you see this whole other level of like, nope.
Right. I mean, it's hard for a reason, right? I mean, it's
Yep.
super hard for a reason. And you learn all these lessons that are unique to you as an
Yeah.
individual. And that's what I hear all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it wasn't like, I got shredded and, some people do get shredded, very, very quickly, but some people don't, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's what happens to a lot of people is like, oh, I'm going to do 75 hard and I'm going to have a 10 pack.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not everyone's bodies are like
Yeah.
for that. You know what I mean? So you have
Yeah.
to be intentional about your why. And
Yes.
that why is going to change as you go through that process because, you're putting your mind is doing the most work. Do you
Yes.
with that?
Oh gosh, yes. That's one thing that I mean that and what Andy calls it your bitch voice. Like it's there every day all
Yeah.
the time. Sometimes multiple times in an hour. I found myself going from like, okay, I'm not thinking about the 25 days I've left or the 50 days I've left. Like it's this day. Sometimes like this workout, like I just finished this 45-minute workout.
Yeah.
Just drink this water, like just eat this meal, just read this book. And that got me through it because I don't think we realize how fast 75 days or 90 days goes. Like it goes fast.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So just realizing that just taking one step at a time, just doing the task at hand, moving to the next. And I don't even know how much weight I lost. I didn't track it. I haven't weighed for
Oh,
a long time.
yeah.
And that was getting to me. And that was one thing I found as a block of like, if I was doing everything right and if I wasn't losing weight, I would give up.
Right.
And I'm like, it's way more than that. So because you do a progress picture every day,
Right.
it was seeing progress. And I won't ever forget the first time somebody came, he's a friend, but he was at work and he's like, man, you look like you've lost weight. And I was like, I heard that in years. Thank you. Like,
Right. Right. It feels so good when
it's
you're like, oh my God, like
great.
people are seeing that. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
work so damn hard. It's like every day I go to the gym, I'm like, I fucking hate going. I really do. As
Yes,
much as I work
I
out,
get it.
as much as I like hire trainers, hire nutritionists, have hormone doctors, have this, all the things, meal prepping. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, ugh, I hate going to the gym. But when I'm there, I'm all in, baby. You know what I mean? I am all in, but I also listen to my body
Yeah.
when I don't feel like doing like the cardio portion, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, um, it is such a mind game. Like it
It
is
is.
such a mind game. And that's, I've talked about this before. If you have to take a step of just putting your workout clothes out on the bed and not going, to putting on your workout clothes and just sitting on the couch, to putting
Mhm.
on your workout clothes and, going for a walk outside. I mean, it's the progression, right? Of like
Yeah.
teaching your body and your mind a habit. You might
Yep.
have to do that for 30 days to get into the habit of where I am going to get out and
Mhm.
actually go to a gym. Cause I hear all the time, like there's a girl that worked at the gym I worked at, and she's like, man, you like really push really, really hard. Like, she's like, I'm so embarrassed to like work out in front of a mirror and like feel like I have bad form. And I was like, well, number one, I did CrossFit for a long time, so I have really good form.
Yeah.
I'm a stickler about that. Number two, I don't really look in the mirror. I'm not like sideways. Your body should be like this, but then these guys are like, hey, like, I'm like, oh God, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I just said, just go stand in front of the mirror. Cause you know what? You know what everybody's thinking? They're thinking about
Yep.
themselves,
Yep.
thinking about what they look like. So they're not going to pay attention to you. I guarantee it. So the next day I come in and she's like, girl, I worked out in front of the mirror and it was awesome.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So it's just, and that's how we can inspire each other.
Mm-hmm. No,
Story
it is.
inspired me. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, Jess, please be on my podcast and talk
Gosh.
about this.
Well, thank you. It's one of those things that and I think I shared it when I did the post on finishing 75 hard, but I didn't even post that for like 2 weeks after I finished because I'm like, I did it for me. Like I didn't tell anyone I was doing it because I had failed so many times. Like I was embarrassed about it.
Uh,
So I didn't tell my husband. My daughter knew, my 13-year-old daughter, because she's just
oh,
my little buddy. So
oh,
she knew, but like nobody else knew. For it took him like 3 weeks of being like, wait a minute, are you on 75 hard again? And I was like, well, no, but yeah. Like you don't know this, just ignore it. Like,
yeah.
and it took a little bit, and some other people, my sister finally was about day 70, was like, hey, should we do 75 hard? And I was like, well, I'm on day 70, but we can start, after day 75 and I'll do it with you. And she was like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, I just haven't told anybody because I did it for me. Like I didn't want it to be and I get that there's a lot of people that not need, but it helps them have the accountability. Totally
Absolutely.
get that.
Absolutely.
I did that for a long time, but then I'm like, am I doing it for them? No, but I'm doing it for me. But then I also was like, why did I do it? Because you see the change it has in other people. I
Yeah.
saw online, I've heard podcasts of people that did it, talked to people in person that have done it. And I'm like, I had this amazing experience with it. If me not sharing it, that hinders other people from starting it or from starting something difficult or something that they want to do. So by me sharing, maybe that will encourage somebody to do something they've been wanting to do. So I finally shared it, but it was one of those things that I'm like, I didn't even want anybody to know because I'm like, I'm not doing it for anybody but me.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's cool to share and help inspire other people because we never know who we're touching.
I know.
And so that's something that's really cool that I think.
It is really cool. It is really cool. And that was what I experienced, at Lions Den Live, is because sometimes I just want to burn this podcast down to the ground. It's like, oh, it's like, but then, so many people, I had no idea who they were. Like every time there was a break, every time, and this is not just like, oh, let's go talk to Brittany. Like I'm like last year when I went by myself. I was a scared little girl. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea what I walked into, but it changed my life forever. And then, you know, it was cool going there because I have met so many people along the way and I wanted to see these people in person, but people were just like, Brittney, I follow your podcast. I listen to it.
Aw,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for
love
speaking,
it.
you know, at Core 4 the night before. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just like, okay, then
Yeah.
this is my mission. This is my purpose. And I'm going to continue to do that.
Right.
And those people really touched my heart. Like, and I was like, this is so cool. And
Absolutely.
same with Dan, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was,
Yeah.
this is a vision I've always saw for Dan and I,
Yeah.
that we want to help as many people as we can just really, really love themselves and truly not be afraid. And because it's a hard thing to learn and it takes
Yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I mean, so just like, so who were you before like you started your health journey? Like,
Oh,
why did you
man.
decide?
It's crazy because it's been a wild, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years of I was in amazing shape, best shape I've been in my whole life, about 2 years after I had my little boy. And then my mental just went completely into the toilet. And it took a while to figure out why, and it took a lot. And so in that time, I kind of stopped everything. I stopped working out, I stopped eating good, and it just gradually, you know how it does,
Yeah.
gradually you pack the pounds on and you don't see it. And then you see a picture of yourself, or you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, wait a minute, this is not who I am.
Been there many times. I understand.
Yes. So it was a lot of back and forth, and then losing a little bit of weight and then gaining it back, or not seeing progress at all. And it was frustrating because I became a personal trainer and was helping other people on their health journeys. And so I knew what to do, and people saw me as something. And then when you lose that a little bit, your identity kind of goes with it and your confidence goes with it.
Right.
And so I had very little belief in myself in that area, which, like I said earlier, it feeds into every aspect of life.
Yeah.
And so I was very people pleaser, very quiet, did what other people wanted. And then behind the scenes was a little baby about it. um, I have never really spoke up for myself, and I never really had my own ideas. I never wanted to share things that were in here.
Mhm.
And over the last few years of really, I mean, I have lost weight and kind of off and on,
Yeah.
but over the last 3 months of doing this, like I'm finding myself becoming who I would get glimpses of that girl
Yeah.
throughout the years. I would get glimpses and she would get bold and she would do something. But now I'm I'm seeing a life not only just for me, but for my family, for my kids, for the
Yeah.
people around me that I never even fathomed. And that might sound crazy,
No, it's beautiful.
but I'm seeing things, and it also it stems from physically, but it stems from doing things that are challenging for you and that you don't believe that you can do. Um and doing things consistently
Right.
to prove to yourself that it's possible. So
Right.
now my mind won't stop with ideas and thoughts and dreams and goals, and my relationships keep getting better. So the girl that was timid and quiet and just kind of went along with things did the I don't want to say the bare minimum, but kind of, she would skirt along,
Yeah.
is pushing the envelope on things, doing things that, quite frankly, close family and friends, or I guess I don't want to say acquaintances, but people close in my environment at
Yeah.
home
Mm.
would never have thought that I would do, or might not even believe that I could do. And so now I'm working on that belief of, even though they don't, like, I'm still going forward with it,
Mhm.
still pushing the envelope and still pushing the limits of what I think I'm capable of. Because these things are not things that I've ever done before, or that people have that know me would know me of doing. And so it's a whole other chapter. Like, I'm a completely different person. And even my husband had mentioned, he said, because there's things in my life, like everyone has, mental things that challenge us.
Mhm.
And he said, 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to go through this. I said, no, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have. But
Right.
now it's not even a worry. It's not a concern. It honestly is more funny now than anything. And that's what's crazy. Like, it's more just comedy instead of stress or, pushing
Good.
on my confidence. And I love that. Like, I
Yeah.
am changed. And my kids get a better mom because of that. My husband gets a better wife because of that. And the people around me get a better version of me because of that. And that's one thing that I always try to let people know is focusing on ourselves is not selfish.
Right.
Like, that is the best thing we can do for, yes, ourselves, but our families, our friends, our community, and the world. Like, that is how things change, is
Mhm.
by us doing work on ourselves and us becoming better versions of ourselves constantly. You
Right.
can't just do it once and then stop.
Right.
So I guess hopefully that answered your question. I am completely changed.
Yes, you're completely unrecognizable. And the reason why your family didn't think that you can do that, right, is because they're used
Mm-hmm.
past self.
Yep.
And for us to change, to become unrecognizable, is to get really, really uncomfortable. And that road, like Ed Milet will say, is very
Mhm.
lonely
Yeah.
because people don't understand. But
Right.
that's how they see it. They're either going to be even bigger cheerleaders or they're going to just think you're crazy because they don't
Yes.
know what that
Yes.
mindset means. They don't
Yep.
understand what that mindset means. It's just like, I get that too. I have people in my blood family that don't support me in this podcast at all. You know why? They don't see or want to see,
Yeah.
what I'm doing. It's
Yeah.
okay.
And that's okay. That's one thing that I love. I love that now I can see everybody's different. Like, and not that I didn't see it before, but I see it on a different level of, like, we're all on a different journey. And if you don't like what maybe I have to say, that's cool. Like,
Yeah.
find somebody that you do like what they have to say and, follow them or listen to them,
Yes.
talk with them. There's people that I like that I don't necessarily love everything they say, but that's fine. I appreciate them. I love them and I can appreciate the journey they're on. And that's I had somebody ask me the other day, well, does so-and-so listening? Because I have a podcast, and I said, well, I don't know. And, well, does that bug you? And I said, no. Like, I don't need them to support that. I'm not doing it for that one person. I'm doing it for somebody that wants to hear my message. Yes.
100%. Do you know what I mean? And that's literally what, how I've like continued in this podcast when that was happening,
Mm-hmm.
with my blood family. And, I got real close to deleting my episode, at least the
Oh,
episode,
okay.
my story.
Yeah.
And, it was like, I talked to someone else in my blood family and was like, well, that doesn't affect me, Brittany. This is her story. I see
Yeah.
what, and I'm so thankful that that conversation happened because, I needed that push. It was like, I needed like that to be seen.
Yeah.
Because, I love my family so much and I would do anything for them. And I always was like that. You know what I mean? But what happens when you do anything for them? What are you doing for yourself? And so it made me realize, if I do this,
Mm-hmm.
letting them take my power. And power
Right.
is not an egotistical word. Power
Right.
means like, this is powerful. This is a powerful message. This is what I want to get across to as many people as I can. So if someone out there is struggling getting their fitness in order, you
Mm-hmm.
have to reach out to Jess and understand that it came from a place that she didn't want to be sitting comfortably anymore
Mm-hmm.
and wanted to be better for herself. And guess what? Her kids see it, her husband sees it, And I'm sure like you've and even inspired your kids to be like, yeah, mom, let's go on a walk. Like,
Yeah.
let's do this. Let's like work out
Yeah.
together.
100%. My son's biggest thing now is he wants a 6-pack. He's 9. So, like, okay, bud. So he's in the gym working out with
Oh,
me at times. And my daughter, she isn't as, but she sees the intention and me pushing past things that are hard. And that's huge for me because our kids are going to encounter hard all their whole life.
right.
And if they see us encountering it,
Oh,
pushing forward, failing, and then picking ourselves back up and keep going, like that shows them that it's okay to fall. It's okay to, pick yourself back up and keep going. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not always going to be this happy, joyful, successful journey. But if they see us challenging ourselves, like this was a very intentional challenge.
right.
And she knew it, but she saw me doing it and she was my biggest cheerleader. And honestly, even now, she's listening to things more from me and she accepts things more from me now. But I think it's because she has more respect.
Right.
I'm not the mom that, is waking up and fumbling out the door. Okay, there is times that did happen this morning because I feel like garbage, but on a normal basis, I was more put together and I was challenging myself, pushing myself, and she respected that. When she was 4 or 5 years old, I wasn't that mom that she would have respected. So I'm glad that they're a little older now and they can see this going forward because I wasn't put together. I wasn't mom that I wanted to be. And now I'm approaching that. So.
That's so beautiful. And I feel like also that has to come from a place of really loving who you are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
You say that before this transformation, you didn't love yourself, but because of the dedication, the consistency that you can be like, yeah, I love Jess.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think that's something that loving yourself means you're going to constantly, you have to be working on yourself. I think that's what you see in people that don't have any challenge or don't push themselves or don't have any motivation is they don't feel that love.
Right.
That's where that love comes from too, is you're pulling yourself up being like, no, you got this. And
Right.
in that moment, you're like, yes, I do. It's like a mini pep talk to yourself, I guess, too. And realizing that you're doing it because you love yourself. And that's one thing that it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see people working on themselves because they love themselves. And that's one of my favorite things to see.
Absolutely. Me too.
So amazing.
Me too. Like when Dan and I, first met, like even like, and I was already like going on this journey again, but this time I was like, I'm never going to stop this journey this time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And make sure I have the support I need around me.
Mhm.
And Dan, being a firefighter, he used to just run and hike and all this stuff. He didn't really use weights or anything like that. Like we would work out together and I'd be like, bro, what are you doing? You're like, I'm just going to come over here and do this. And I'm gonna go over here and do this, and I'm like, so I started programming for him and that was a mistake because I was like, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, hire somebody so I don't have to do it because
Yeah.
you're questioning me and I'm questioning you. And that's okay. It was a beautiful thing, to let go of what we actually needed for each other. And now like his body is like transforming and I'm like, mhm.
Awesome.
It's so awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I know that he's putting in the hard work because he used to work out after work, after picking up the kids and all this stuff. And he
Yeah.
would miss a lot. So now that man is working. I mean, it's amazing. He's waking up at 3:30 a.m.
Wow.
to get all of his morning routine in and getting at it to the gym. So it's a consistent thing for him. And
Yeah.
that's what it takes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You guys
It
listening out,
does.
it takes a structure, like Jess was saying, she was so much more structured that her kids saw her more
Mhm.
because she made that time, and Daniel makes that time to be with his kids and everything like that. Like you have to design your structure for you to
Yeah.
accomplish what you want in your life. And sometimes it's going to suck, but you get used to it and then you want more. So it's all about your choices that you make.
Yeah. Well, and I would add, like, it sucks either way. Do you want it to suck and be productive and be happy and have your life progressing? Or do you want it to suck and be, miserable and depressed and hate who you are?
Totally. I mean, like I said, like, I hate going to the gym a lot of the time, but if I keep pushing myself and like when I'm there, I really push myself every day, I'll look back and be like, oh, damn, like, I have these 12 rep leg press things. I've never done a leg press in my life because I've never had that type of machine, and I was like at like 260 or whatever. And now I can push 430 pounds 12 times.
Awesome.
Because of the consistency, you know what I mean? And it's not like to toot my own horn. It's just to show and have you recognize the consistency of what you're doing and writing things down. Like I have all kinds of booklets. I have a backpack in the gym. I take this big old binder out. Like I know I can have a smaller thing, but I have a binder. So I write down everything that I'm doing. If I went 5 pounds this way, I'm going to go 5 pounds heavier today.
Yeah.
I don't make it. I don't make it. You know what I mean? I know how many reps that I did make it on, and I'll write that stuff down.
That's awesome.
I mean? Yeah. Cause then you're like, and then because you think that you'll remember everything in your mind, but we just don't. We don't.
It's true. We don't.
Write things down, structure how you're going to do everything. And if you want to wake up earlier, my tip is this. If you want to wake up an hour earlier than you are now, right? If you wake up an hour earlier the next day, you're going to be fried. So start doing those in little increments. Start waking up 10 minutes earlier every single day, just slowly until you get to that hour. So it's not so like in your face.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share something that's helped me a ton. So if you have iPhone, I have on my note or on my reminders, like the reminder, the little one with like the blue, the red, and the yellow.
Yeah.
Of my morning routine. And it seriously is so detailed. It literally is like this time wake up. And then I have this saying, and I have to tell this story too, because I want to say like real early in 7-5 hard, I was out doing outdoor cardio and I was getting, I don't want to say discouraged, but like my identity was changing.
Right.
And I wasn't sure how, because I'd been that, kind of, I don't want to say lazy because I was never lazy. I'm always on the go, but my workouts were on what they should be. And it just in my head, I was getting kind of like, this isn't who I am, basically. And then I'm like, no, like, this is who I am. That is who I am not. Like, that is what got me miserable. This is who I am. So the second thing on here, I have the time that I wake up. And then the next thing is, this is who I am. This is what I do. And that rolled through my head like the next 15 minutes on that walk. And so every workout after that, I just, in my head is, this is who I am. This is what I do. And so that is the first thing. And then it's literally like, go to the bathroom, get dressed, do your progress picture, brush your hair, clean your face, and then throw in laundry, grab your coffee, read your book. Like, it seriously is so detailed down to like, okay, leave by 7:15. And this has helped so much because when you're establishing a routine, whether it's for the morning, I have a nighttime routine too. And sometimes it doesn't go as planned. That's cool.
Right.
But I want to know that I'm like hitting these tasks, because the more and now it's basically automatic. I don't use it every morning, but there for like months, like I would seriously get up and check everything off the list before I would leave for work. And I've adjusted it. And so now it's just my morning routine and I love it. And it's simple. You don't pay for the app. You don't pay for the thing. You do it, you mark it off. And then after, you unmark everything and it shows back up for the next day. Like, one of my favorite things that I have, like, my hack.
And it's a great hack. I mean, I write everything down too. I have reminders for so many things. But it's interesting when that morning routine gets so ingrained. Like, I will wake up and I'll be walking somewhere because it's part of my routine of like going to get like sometimes I'm like going to reach for something. I'm like, what am I doing right now? Because I'm like not totally awake, but it's like reaching for my sage, burning my
Yeah.
sage, and I have gratitude. I
Yep.
and I cleanse. Like that's part of my daily, my routine every single day.
Love it.
You
Yep.
know? And then it goes into like, you know, meditation and then reading, and then I'll get on my phone, you know, and add
Yep.
value and things like that. But it's just so weird that your body knows what to do, even if when you're not awake. I don't know if you've
Oh,
experienced that.
yes.
You're just like,
1000. Yep.
oh, like someone else is like moving your hand for you, or
Yep.
like,
Well, it's
you
like
know,
brushing your teeth.
so cool.
Like
Yeah.
you don't notice like how you brush your teeth every, the same way every day. I'm assuming. I think I do. I don't, because I don't notice. But that's one thing that, because you get on here, and what's crazy is I started doing it on my watch. So I have an Apple Watch,
Yeah.
and you can go into that because I really like you. I don't like being on my phone because you get distracted super easily
So easy.
when you get on your phone. So I've started doing it on my watch, and I'll just check them off on my watch and then not grab my phone and be on my phone till after my workout. But it's crazy how your body just gets so used to it.
Yes.
But it's, I don't know, it's like working out.
Right.
It's the hardest, right? What's the saying is the heaviest weight at the gym is the front door. And it's like, I don't know who said that, but I'm like, it's so true. And I work out at home. And so there's so many distractions. I have to go through my laundry room to get to my basement, to go downstairs to go into my gym.
Yeah.
Do you know how much laundry I've done postponing my workout?
Oh,
Tons of laundry.
tons.
Tons of laundry.
Yeah.
But now that this has like ingrained, like this is what I like, it's automatic. And
Right.
there is days that I sleep in. Today was one of those days.
Huh.
That happens. But I love that it's just automatic now. And
Yeah.
before, like if you would have said like, hey, this is gonna be your routine, I would have been like, yeah, right.
Right. Right. I
That's
say that all the
funny.
time.
I'm not gonna be up at 4 a.m. That's a joke. Like,
Right.
but now I love mornings. And like even on vacation, my body's like ding, awake.
Yeah. That's
And
so
just one of those things.
well, it's just like, you know, trying to wake up early, you guys. Like, you know, you might get intimidated by seeing her list of things that she just scrolled through, right? But she has like little things in there, like brushing your teeth or
Little
brushing.
things.
So that's
Yes.
why they're big.
Yep.
So start off with 4 things for your morning routine. You
Mhm.
don't have to get crazy. It's just like New Year's Eve. Everyone wants to go to the gym. We're going to work out 7 days a week. No, bitch, that does not work out. You have to schedule and routine yourself to get there and to
Yeah.
create the habit. Again, it takes 30 days to create a new habit. So start small. Start with something that you know that you can accomplish. Don't stress yourself out.
Right.
I think people stress themselves out so hard, or like do these fad diets and all these things where they're not learning anything. They
Yeah.
want it quick, quick, quick. And understanding, you know, your food, understanding what your body needs, understanding your programming, understanding that like real foods, real workout, real commitment is what's going to help you in the long run and secure your future for the next 10 years.
Mhm.
You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? So
100%. Yep. Yep. Because this didn't just start this way. I guess I should have prefaced that. It started as, getting up on time, legit, not pushing the snooze. That was the second thing on my list. So, the time, and then don't hit the snooze, get up. And then it started evolving. And then I'm like, okay, what would be a perfect morning? What would get things done and off my plate to where when I go out of my, out of my house, drop my kids off, go to work, what's going to make me feel like I've done, I don't want to say majority, but a majority of like the important tasks in my day, not to mention the gratitude, prayer, like you said, meditation, reading. Those things start your day off so good. And then you add in a workout in there, like you're set. Your mood is going to be better. So even if it's a few things like that, wake up, pray, meditate, read, and get in a quick workout.
right.
That's going to start off your day so much better just with doing those few things. Even if it's a workout, like
Yeah.
do something for you that's going to benefit you and improve your mood. That's one thing that I've noticed is my mood improves if I do my routine. If I'm not on my routine, my day is shit.
Yeah. I mean, this really enhances your vision, your mind, like everything. You just feel so good. And even if the end of the day is not so great, at least you started it great. You had
Yes.
the intention of
Yeah.
creating what you wanted, And so, and I think that was a really good tip for people of just like, hey, start with one thing and do
Mm-hmm.
that one thing one more time, even,
Yep.
like, again, I'm going to bring Ed Milet up because it's, he will always say like, do one more, you know what I
Yep.
mean? It's like, do one more, like say, I love you one more time, do one more
Yes.
rep, one more time, like pray for one more minute, like just do one more.
Yeah.
And it'll set you up for even more success. So if you have to start with one thing, that's okay.
Mhm.
You know what
And
I
then
mean?
build that belief. Build the belief, because the belief's not just going to be there. You have
Right.
to build it. And your confidence is going to improve, your belief in yourself is going to improve. And honestly, you're going to keep your word to other people more too, because you're keeping it with yourself. That means something to you. If you're not keeping your word to yourself, it's not going to mean a whole lot to have it not mean anything to anybody else, in my opinion.
Well, and if you're not keeping something to yourself, guess what? You're lying to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
End of
Yep.
story. You
Yep.
might want to blame it on everybody else, but like it's
Nope.
your choice
On
and
you.
your dedication and you putting down the groundwork and
Mhm.
having faith in yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes I still use it to this day. Like you might have to fake it till you make it, right? But once you start doing those things, you will create that love for yourself
Yeah.
because you're putting in the work for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
getting up on time, going to the gym, maybe start looking at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm a motherfucking badass. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Even if you don't believe it that day, eventually you will, because you're putting all of these routines and structures into your life to grow that love for yourself. And it doesn't happen overnight.
No.
It took me 12 years to really love myself. And this is after I was depressed for 10.
Yeah.
It's just the dedication that I don't want to feel like shit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be stomped over anymore. I
Yeah.
want to make my own decisions. I want to live my own life. And I want to be on the journey of financial freedom and peace and creating love abundantly
Yeah.
through my life and others.
Yeah.
You have to make a choice.
Dude. Well, and if you don't see that, I'm trying to think who it is. I read it in a book and now I'm blanking with who said it. It'll come to me. He talks about, envisioning the person that you want to become
Mhm.
and literally seeing them, like closing your eyes and envisioning what they look like, what they dress like,
Right.
um, and how they carry themselves. And he has you stand up and then basically put yourself in that person's shoes, like step back into that person. And it's so powerful because it's hard at the beginning of a journey or even in the middle of it to really feel like you're capable of that, or where you're going. If you don't know, well, that's even a whole other story. If you don't know where you're going, that you can't get there.
Right.
But if you know where you're going, it was Ryan Stewman's book.
Mhm.
He has you step into that person and believe that you're that person.
Mhm.
And it was super powerful because anytime I'm on this, journey of this is hard, who am I to believe I could do this? Am I capable? All the stories that run through our head, I just was like, no. And I would close my eyes and I would step back into that person of who I wanted to become. And in my mind, I just kept saying, like, you're a beautiful badass. That's my goal, is to be a beautiful badass in all aspects, not just
Yeah.
looks, not just any, I want that. And I envision that in myself. And so after you have that vision of who you really are, and you step into that, you're way more capable of doing the tasks because you don't see yourself as maybe overweight or don't have the smarts to do what you're doing or whatever it is, you literally put yourself in that person and no, I am. And you become that person day in and day out. After so long, you're just going to become them.
Yeah.
Because you're doing what they do.
Absolutely. And that's the same thing as what you said before. Like what I loved that you said is like, I visioned what my greatest morning would look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. It's just like, like Dr. D would say, like when I talked to her, she's like, girl, because that's when I was single. And she's like, have you ever wrote down what you wanted in a man? I was like, no. She's like, well, you're not ready. I was like, well, I'll write it down right now. I wrote down 3 pages.
Yeah.
When I was going on dates or like meeting Dan, I look back on that. And when I did meet Dan, I look back and it was everything I wrote down. It was crazy,
Awesome.
and it's just like write down what your entire vision of your morning routine is, write down exactly who you want to be, then take parts of that, like say if it's 20 things, right?
Yeah.
So for that, like first month, take those 5 things, make them part of your life. Take those next 5 things, make them a part of your life. Like break it down into what you can accomplish because all of it is overwhelming. Take bite-sized pieces and eventually all of those things will be who you are and your routine and your structure. And that's a beautiful, beautiful way to look at it. I do that naturally, but I never really had someone say that out loud or think of it out loud. I think that is a beautiful thing that you just said to understand.
I honestly like it's helped me a ton. And I always go back, and it's probably been 2 years since I read that book and thought of it that way. And I just have to picture myself like, because you find yourself that, well, I don't wear that. I'm not the person that wears that, or I'm not the person that does that. And it's like, okay, but do you want to be? And if you want to be, then you are. So do it. Like,
I love that.
do it. Like buy the expensive shoes that you don't think are, that you're not the type of person. And I bring it back to, the laptop I'm using right now, a MacBook. Like I, for so long, bought the cheapo Chromebooks because I wasn't the person that had an Apple computer. Like why? I don't know. But it was a story I told myself. So one day I'm like, why am I not? And I bought the freaking computer and I love it.
Me too.
Why was I not that person? I don't know. Why did, that I have, more than a few pairs of Freebird shoes in there. That was another story that like
I have so many.
So many. They're so good.
Amazing.
So good.
We should be sponsored after this.
They're so good. But for so long I was like, you're just not that person that would have those shoes. And I'm like, why the hell not?
Right.
Exactly. Why not?
Exactly. Why not? Why not?
Why not you? Why not?
Yeah, I love
You're worth it.
I love that. So as we get to the end here, what are your top 3 things that you wish you told yourself before this transformation that you could be who you are today?
First off is you are capable. You are capable. Probably another one is finding, I don't want to say joy, but finding yourself in the struggle.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Find yourself in that struggle, those moments that you're struggling. Really look at that and really connect with you, because that's when you're learning. That's when you're growing. Connect with that inner you during those times of struggle and get to know that person really, really, really well. Pull that person up. Tell that person they got this. Tell that person to take another step, but get to know that person. A lot of people shy away from that. I shied away from that for a long time. I wanted to push it away. I wanted to distract myself. I want to turn the music up louder. Stop. Turn the music off. Turn the podcast off. Cry if you need to. Whatever it is, connect with that person.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's it's been a wild journey.
Still
Still on it. We're not done, but
And
it's
that's
been awesome.
that's
Oh, geez. Trying to think of the other. There's been there's so
those
many,
two
but
things are
three.
amazing. Maybe we don't have a third one. Maybe
Maybe
you're
we
still
don't have a third.
discovering the third one,
Oh,
right?
the next one. The next one is share your journey.
Ooh,
Share your journey with people, because I've had so many people inspire me, and I should reach out to more of them. I try to do that if I'm inspired or motivated or touched, just even touched by somebody, something they say, letting them know that. But sharing your journey, it doesn't have to be online. Share it with somebody that's close to you, your husband, your wife, your best friend, your mom, your sister.
yeah,
Share what you're going through, because you'll never know how you're going to impact that person. So
that's so beautiful. I love that. I mean, I learned a lot in this podcast, I mean, that's what's so great about having a podcast. And, you shared some very, very insightful things. And I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of like where you are today, even though I didn't, like, I don't know you that well, but I'm getting to know you. I see you, and I didn't know your past self, but who cares about that past self, because you are who you wanted to become. And it's so, so beautiful. And you should celebrate that
thank
and
you.
celebrate who you are, because it is a gift to be able to share this to help somebody else. And I'm very grateful that you did today.
Well, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. So grateful to have met you, and like just seeing you it's been like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gotta go say hi. And because you feel like you know people, but seeing them and connecting with them on a personal level in person's
Yeah.
awesome.
That energy transfer, it was such a beautiful thing. Like, I will never forget, that event, at all, because of those energy transfers and because of the people, we saw and everything like that, besides everything else. Like, I would do it all over again. You know what I mean? It's just the importance of people and touch and loving ourselves, and to give that back to others. It's beautiful, man. It's
It
beautiful.
is. It is. Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I like, girl, I mean, let's stay in touch and everything
Yes,
like that.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Be these crazy Utah girls that, are badass. So let's keep being
Right.
badass.
Right.
I hope you guys have a great day. Everything is going to be in the info box below. If you want to reach out to Jess and ask her more about her health journey and how maybe she can help you, don't be afraid. Everything will be in the box below. I just repeated that, but that's okay. And have a great Monday. Have a great week. Set yourself up for success. Take one bite at a time, one shift, one little direction, whatever that takes, you'll get there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.